Welcome everyone to Tarot Journeys with Guy. How's everybody doing? Well, it happened. Trump got arrested. President Trump was arrested, and I hope everybody saw the Tucker Carlson interview as well. So yeah, it's interesting. We're going to do a little read on that. There was a lot of things that came up in his interview. Oh man, all I got to say is just keep your eyes peeled. Keep paying attention. Things are about to get ramped up and about to get crazy. Now, Tucker Carlson asked Trump some really interesting questions. Some of them he evaded. Some of them he jumped into. But it was interesting, right? Because the lid is about to get blown wide open. So it is a situation right now where things are coming to a head, right? And we've got this year moving towards the presidential election, right? One of the most viewed interviews ever, one of the most viewed things in public broadcasting, I guess, over 200 million views. Amazing, right? This is good news. And so, we're going to look into this. I mean, there's a few things there that Tucker asked President Trump. One of them was, did he think that they were going to attempt to assassinate him? That was an interesting question. Another one was whether he thought Epstein had been killed by the deep state or not. The other question was around civil war and what is going to happen. What he really thought was going to happen. And regardless of what people think, his ability to sort of maneuver these kind of questions in his own unique way is incredible. So he didn't really answer some of those questions. So we're going to look into that. We're going to look into how do things look from this point on. I mean, there's a lot of hearsay already circulating around whether there's going to actually be a 2024 election. Is this going to rupture the United States? How is this going to affect the rest of the world? Like, this is part of this narrative unraveling. The other thing too, he kept hinting at this disabling their plan and their agenda. Okay. And that was another thing. We're going to look a little deeper. So we're just going to take a look. The other thing too is this is the time. This is the time for us to unify, not to be apart, especially us in this online community, the what do you call it? The freedom movement, the truther community, the realists. We need to be unified. I mean, with tarot readers and stuff, we're going to have different views on particular things. It doesn't really matter anymore. We need to be together on many things, right? And so that's the thing with tarot and psychic work. It's like we all kind of have our own perceptions, right? And until things become more present and sort of recognizable, that's where we start to get proof, right? So what we're doing is speculating. We're trying to piece things together from the spiritual realm and how it's working in the material. So how people interpret that is different, right? So, but it's definitely a time for us not to be at odds with each other. We need to remain composed and we need to unify. We are moving towards something monumental and it's necessary. Right. And so that's why we all have to be present and to be awakened in our own ways, or to be awake. Yeah, it's really important. Right. So that's where we're moving. We're moving towards another one of these crazy years. It's going to be wild. Okay. So let's take a look at, what is going to be the ramifications of him being arrested. Finally, the mugshots of Giuliani, and they arrested his lawyers. This is unheard of. It's insane. The mugshot of him is priceless. it's awesome. Yeah, we just have to see. Okay, so let's see what's the ramifications of this? What's going to be the spillover? What guidance can we get from this next stage we're gonna be looking into, right? How does it look for Trump and his team, I guess? Let's just see what guidance will give us, and then we'll move on from there. But a few people in the comments were saying, please explain a bit more about the spreads, and I'll try, right? Like, in fact, it's kind of simple. I use kind of a very simple, like this is actually a very common spread that some people call the Kachina knife. There's other names for it as well, but it's very simple. It's like, so past, present, future, and this card here, the Eight of Swords, is sort of like the spiritual intention, the spiritual motion, what is overlooking us, what is overseeing us. This card is sort of the material foundations. This is what shows us what's going on in the world. And these two cards almost act as advice. They help us to read the card above, but it also gives us an opportunity to sort of look at all of the cards in a particular way. Now, and then what I've done is I've added this, and sometimes, like I'm kind of shortening it. Sometimes I actually add 10 cards, but I add 6 to make 13 to sort of tell a story. This is kind of a Pythagorean pyramid that's kind of, and it just literally spells out and helps me understand this part of the spread, which is kind of like a snapshot. And then sometimes what I'll do is I'll even draw like an extra card, right? Or something, or a few extra cards. And that's, yeah. See, and reading, and with me, I'm very, very intuitive, very, psychic. Like I pick up on things. So what I use the cards as sort of like a template, so that I can register what I'm actually perceiving. So, and that's why sometimes it actually appears as though I'm not reading the cards at all. I try to actually indicate some of the cards in the reading. So that's something that as you kind of continue to watch and understand, like every reader has their own particular style, right? But yet there is sort of this way of kind of reading that we all kind of sort of develop, right? And a lot of this is really understanding how symbols work and how combined together it sort of gives us an expression. It gives us this, it's like spelling out a sentence, spelling out words. Okay, so in the present, so this is the past, right? This is actually the Magician card. This is like being communicative and out front, being truthful, right? Being the true self. And so this is kind of like what happened in the last couple of days. This was Trump's interview. But it came across as a little bit, I mean, he's hinting at stuff that we all know, right? He's playing a political game. This is another thing. But it almost, like, to the other side of it, what they're doing is presenting this idea that it came across as childish, just like in his typical kind of like style, in a sense of the negative aspects of what they've been trying to project onto people, right? And that's kind of what they're pushing out there, in lieu of this fact that nobody really watched the GOP debate. And not only the fact that this is like one of the most, like this is the largest interview ever aired that people have watched, like with well over 200 million people. That's amazing. Like, I mean, what was it, like 100 million live or something? And so, like, that's phenomenal. So they're going to project all sorts of crap. And it is crap. Just like what he said in the interview. It's BS. And he said the real words. And it was like, yes, it is BS. All of this is BS. It is all based on lies. And it's based on their attempt to create and to upend the government. It's this coup that they've been performing. and trying to enact, right? So that's kind of where we're sitting. It's like, this is what I picked up in other readings, like previous leading up to this, that there was going to be these kind of events. This is a big one where now we have to sit back and kind of watch, right? And this is kind of what it is. We've been handed the golden goblet. We just don't see it. He is so correct. They're all correct when they say they're not coming after me, i.e. Trump and his people. They're coming after us. They're coming after you, all of us. If they can do this to a president, they can do it to anybody. That's the big takeaway on this. That's what people have to really see. And it's so funny, this card here, the Eight of Swords reversed, here, I'll pull it out and flip it up. It looks like a person in prison, right? So are these guys really going to be in prison? No, they're not. Not at all. Actually, the opposite is what's going to happen. These guys, what you're going to see is like a massive retreat as well. Some of these dudes doing this retreat maneuver. And I don't think it's going to spark the civil unrest and all the things that they're saying. No, not at all. The opposite is going to happen. People are going to come together more and more and more. They're starting to see through the ruse. They're starting to see through the lies. Very, 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 very important. It's important for people to not get... Well, see, this card here is so funny. The Four of Cups, right? This is us meditating. But it also could be like, I'm kind of bored with this, or I'm like a little bit put off. Like, I see all of this stuff in front of me, but I'm having a hard time seeing exactly what's going on. And so that's the thing. People are going to speculate. People are going to be impatient. And we have to kind of keep our resolve. This is a very important thing. Keeping our resolve in the everyday world, keeping composure is very important. We are not fighting each other, even though we've been weaponized. Society, like the people have been weaponized. And so like these people, like we go out into our world and we seem like we're divided and opposed. And some of these people, like people wearing masks and very woke, and just, it seems like we're against each other, and it's not. Even though those people the people on the other side, some of these woke people might see it this way. No. Our enemy is something else. And that's what we have to understand. These people are pawns, they're plebes, they're NPCs, utilized in a fifth generational war effort. And that's how we have to start to take this. We are being called right now. This is the moment we've been waiting for, actually. Is this arrest thing? People have been wanting this mugshot for so long, man. Like, they've been threatening it and everything, right? So, and that's the thing. It's like, yeah, we have to continue on, but we have to take this sort of next impulse in a different way. It has to be done in a peaceful way, and the action has to be taken from a standpoint of creating peace and not war, even though we're in a state of war, right? That's a big thing. They are going to try to spark it. I mean, yeah, there might be some kind of riot or something right away, some kind of big, same deal, right? But this stuff doesn't hold. Like, I mean, the looting and everything that's been taking place, that's another sort of deal. It's like an information bomb has just been dropped. Boom. And there's going to be an after effect. There's going to be a spill out. Yeah, there's going to be situations in other parts of the world that are a direct result of this. Because this is a global thing. This isn't, and even though people like in Europe or we're in Australia or elsewhere, like in Asia and stuff, don't necessarily, like it's the same in Canada. Like we don't necessarily want to be strung along by the United States, but we are. Like, and that's kind of the situation right now. It's really about globalism, the globalists versus freedom. And this is like one of the last battles in a way for it. So, and that's kind of what's leading up. That's a big part of it. So yeah, so I hope you kind of got how I read some of this, right? Yeah, let's just, let's draw some more cards, see what else comes up, right? So are they going to attempt to assassinate him? Are they going to attempt to do something else to President Trump? Let's see. Is there going to be an election? I think there will be. Civil war, like an actual civil war in the States. I don't think so either. I think that's part of the PSYOP, is to create that scenario. Anyway, let's see what else comes up here. So the next phase of their diabolical little plan is they're going to attempt to use this criminal thing as a justification for not allowing him to run as leader of the Republican Party. I think that's a thing. But it's not going to be successful. Like their plans are really falling apart, man. Two of Cups reversed is like a breakup. When we're talking about things that are world events and not necessarily relationship oriented, that can actually represent like the breaking off of a contract or double dealing. So like, we might even see like people, well, I mean, we've been seeing it, but like some bigger players maybe double crossing the Dems. I'm not sure. But this is also another thing, like they're trying to make new arrangements because they're being caught, some of these dudes, most of these dudes, okay? And so what we're going to see is like in other parts of the world, like in Europe and stuff, they're going to try to pass some of these laws underneath the nose of the people, okay? And some of these pandemic laws and things and like the United Nations stuff, and like same thing in Canada, they're going to try to do stuff on the sly. Meanwhile, while the whole world is kind of sort of dazzled by this Trump scenario, right? And that's the whole purpose. That's why they want it. I mean, it generates them a lot of money, but it also like is a good cover. Yeah, they're going to try to hinder his ability to actually run as much as possible. Like that's something that's going to come up right away. Yeah, it's interesting. On the other side of this, with RFK Jr. doing interviews and stuff, I can't remember who he was. Maybe it was the Project Veritas guy. What's this thing called now? OMG Productions or something. Yeah, he did an interview with him, basically him calling out the CIA and Operation Mockingbird and naming people and giving a number of publishers and producers and editors, people placed in major publications. Okay, so that's on the other side of it, and he's been steady on this and steady on the fact that his uncle and his father were both killed by the CIA, and how many others, basically an assassination squad, right? So that's, like this is what's going on, right? They're battling now. So I have a little bit of a different view than some people. I mean, I follow a lot of same accounts and things like this. I'm not so sold that the entirety of the system has been taken over by the Patriots, nor am I sold that the media has been taken over. In fact, I don't think it has. That's why we're seeing a lot of things, but there is a lot of infighting. There's areas where it has been. I mean, this is why we're seeing the things that we have been seeing with Fox but like, this is what RFK Jr. is doing, is naming names. Naming like these major publications, just like how Trump was, but yet RFK Jr. has more of a, I don't know, he's more of a lawyer. He's not a businessman, right? So his approach is a little different, and because he has a health issue around speech, he's had to become extremely, concise with his words and direct, right? So, and like naming names, naming companies, this is a big part of it. This is a big part of the reveal. This is part of the awakening. It's part of what's happening, right? So I also kind of, like, I don't necessarily think per se, but see, that's the thing. Like, a lot of this stuff we're speculating. Like, I don't think President Trump is entirely in control of the country. That's why this battle is happening. But I could be wrong. The more importantly is we all have to be sort of together in a unified sort of manner, not around the speculation, but about what's happening and about how these bad actors, the deep state, the globalists, are implementing a depopulation program and are attempting to create a social credit system and a global governance system. That's what's most important. Okay? So, and this is what we're moving towards. So you're going to see stuff happen in other parts of the world. People are going to start to see the light, though. This is another big part of it. They're starting to kind of see past it. The people that aren't awakened fully, right? They're starting to sort of clue in. He's got a vice president already in mind, I think. And it's sort of like he's waiting for whatever's going to happen with the Biden administration and them calling their new candidate. And the thing is like, the more information starts coming out about these guys, and especially around the Obamas and stuff, that's like the Michelle Obama thing is sort of being put aside. Okay. And, you know, and so in like even taking out Biden while he's in there, it doesn't work because Kamala Harris is the vice president, right? So, right, and that's kind of what it is. It's like this waiting game. What are they going to do? But each day, new evidence comes out about how corrupt and criminal these guys are. That's a big part of it. He might have a woman in mind for vice president. Actually, he's got a lot of women around him. Pardon me. He's got a lot of women around him. He's got a lot of prominent women, a lot of business women, he's got a lot of people that sort of like, I guess, are deep state, but have broken away, right? That have been working within the political class and the bureaucracy, moving around all of these different circles. People are fed up. They're really fed up. And so that's why you see him speaking in a particular way about certain things, okay? Because some of these people are going to switch sides. They are going to come over to him. That's a big part of it. Yeah, they're going to try to change some of the laws around whether he can run or not. That's another thing. And that's the thing we have to really realize, is that they're trying to change the infrastructure of society, like the globalists, right? Under our nose, without the people's agreement. So it's the same thing, right? It's like, don't get sidetracked. Don't get too, especially people in the States, just keep feeling the encouragement, keep feeling the buzz that's there, because that's what we need. There's a growth going. That movement didn't go anywhere. It's true. It might be stronger than ever. Okay, so and what that is just, it's the people. That's all it is. They're really going to attempt to do a bunch of things. Here, one more. Let's just do 3 cards. Let's see what else comes up here, just to close it off. I think that's a lot of information, and I think he knows that they're gonna try something. They don't need to physically assassinate him. That's the thing. We're in an information war. What they're trying to do is assassinate his character. I think there has been attempts on his life, actually. I mean, some people have picked that up, right? And he's thwarted them. He's like sidetracked them. And so I think in the last couple of years, his whole security apparatus and his intelligence thing it's grown huge. And so he understands. Right? He sees it, and they're really doing everything to prevent it from happening. So do I think they're going to try to assassinate him? No, I don't. Not like that. Not in that way. Not in the obvious way. Okay, let's see. But like I said before, who knows? I don't really know. They're going to do everything in their power to disparage this man, President Trump, while meanwhile, the resident, let's call him, the Biden that they present as the leader of the United States of America, is just so obviously corrupt and criminal. So it's this thing of like the media and the deep state elements that are still active are going to really push this, like, you know, all of the major media sources that are online and like papers and things like this, major news networks are going to disparage this guy. But it's just more and more obvious that Biden, like, they're gaslighting people, and people need to kind of point that out, right? You don't need to convince people, like people in the state, you don't need to convince other people anymore. You don't, in fact, like, it's like, walk away from those people that are like, you know, got the Trump derangement syndrome bad, like just media vision, got the mind virus really bad. Steer clear of them. Just steer clear of these people. It's not the truth. In fact, that's all you need to say is, that's not the truth. They're lying, and walk away. Because the truth is gonna come forward, right? Yeah, when we're being called. We're all being called energetically, spiritually, to sort of like stand up, be present, create the world that you want to see, be a light in this world, even if you don't feel like it, right? The light is shining on us. This world can be a very beautiful and wonderful place for everyone. And that's potentially what we're moving towards. And it's worthy working towards. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining and watching the video. I hope you enjoyed. Please hit the subscribe button. Hit that notification bell if you haven't. Please like, leave a comment, share the video. I hope to see you on the next one, and please take care. Bye-bye.